Now it's time for my favourite question of all. That's right, people, it's WTF time. Welcome everyone, Brendan the Blind Guy here, and welcome to the Boombox. Just give me that boom, boom, boom. Just give me that boom, boom. So as I mentioned in last week's podcast, I've had so many what the F stories in my journalism career. I absolutely love asking artists what their most hilarious, priceless WTF moment on their career is. And as I put last week, Australia's very own Sarah McLeod, the front woman from the Super Jesus, had an absolutely hilarious, priceless moment that the band had a couple of times, in fact, at the Playboy Mansion. So you can check out that in last week's podcast. But first, we're going to get into a little bit of magic.
You're an ordinary boy, and that's the way I like you. On a train in the corner with a...
Okay, I'm going to count down my 5 favourite WTF stories, and we're going to start with Australia's very own Magic Dirt. So when I caught up with the band at Seen and Heard Festival in November of 2019, the band was saying they had an absolutely, like, what the F moment when they were invited for this big support slot in England, and the band and tour manager gave them a call from England to get their name and details for the tour. Check it out.
In I think it was like late '97, we flew over to England to do our first UK tour.
Yep.
We're all mega excited, you know, fucking loving it. Hopped in the van, we're all high, drunk, rocking up to the venue.
But hang on, I've got to say before that we were in contact with the promoter for, you know, to help promote us over there, making posters, and we were saying our name over the phone, you know. And you got to remember this in context of what we're going to tell you. So we were talking to British promoter over the phone, saying our band name, like Magic Dirt.
Yeah.
Right? So they're taking this in. Anyway, we'll continue the story.
And very excited. We open the van door, run out to the venue to get our, you know, glimpse our name on the marquee or whatever. And they had billed us as
Magic Turd. Like literally, Magic T-U-R-D, turd.
Oh, wow.
We just went, oh no. And we were
what
trying to
the
work
fuck?
out. So
Yeah, so Magic Turd indeed. Oh, priceless. But now, on to number 4. The storm is brewing. So apart from Linkin Park, my all-time favourite band, Halestorm, I've been so lucky enough to connect with personally on a few occasions, and they feel like friends to me. But that put aside, the first time I ever got to do a phone interview with lead singer Lzzy Hale, she gave me a pretty hilarious moment when the band, again in England actually, so when they got to perform a massive arena show in England, Lzzy, being the responsible older sister she is, thought she'd play a little prank.
This one time we were in London and we've been kind of filmed all day, and we were, you know, and RJ was emptying out this big bottle of vodka and filling it with water so that he could impress the videographers. Like, he wanted to just like act like he was chugging a bottle of vodka before he went up on stage, but it was really water inside. This was one of those situations where it was like just kept getting more and more what the fuck. So he put all of the vodka into empty water bottles. Now, what does a big sister do? But I took all of the vodka water bottles and I replaced all of his water bottles that he had in his bunk in the bus with the vodka water bottles. So they look just like the water bottles, but they have vodka in them. So later on, after the show, we were all in our bus, in our bunks, And I had told the rest of the guys that I had done this to RJ. And we're all waiting for RJ to take a swig, And he finally does. He takes a swig of one of the water bottles that had vodka in it, and he spits it out, and we all giggle, we have a laugh, whatever. We think that's the end of the prank, right? We all go back to sleep, we had a laugh. And then the next morning, we're rolling around, we're having our coffee, whatever, and everyone's complaining, and our driver is like, man, this coffee tastes like shit. Like, what's happening with the coffee? Finally, he ended up pulling over and says, there's booze in the coffee. Like, what's going on? And so come to find out, my little brother had taken the rest of the vodka water bottles and put them in with the rest of the regular water bottles, like back in the case of water. And the driver made his coffee with the vodka water bottles the next morning. And we had to pull over to the side of the road for a while, make sure the driver wasn't drunk, and because he could lose his license. Everyone was so pissed. But it was one of those things where the joke turned into a prank that ended up punking us for the rest of the day, on our travels to the next gig.
So, whoopsie, that didn't go to plan, did it? Oh well, makes a hilarious story nonetheless. Right-o. Now, let's burn it down to the ashes. So in 2020, when the world had basically shut down because of the pandemic, I was fortunate enough to catch up with Denny, the clean lead vocalist from US new metal band From Ashes to New, for a phone interview. And he was telling me about the time early in their career where they were touring with another band around America, and they thought that it would be a good idea to stop at this Outback diner with a hot wings challenge.
Early on in my music career, the first time I ever went on tour with my old band, we were playing with another band, and we played at this place that had this hot wing challenge. And I'm talking, they had a giant mason jar full of ghost chili peppers and capsaicin extract and Carolina Reapers and all this crazy stuff just marinating. And they for days. And then they'd pour it into a sauce, and they'd mix the wings with it and all this stuff. And one of the guys from the other band decided to give it a shot. And it was something eat 5 or 8 wings. So one guy tries to do it, and I kind of came in at the halfway point. He had already eaten a couple. And this guy is just sitting there just dying. But one of the other guys stepped in, and he ate one, threw in the towel, done. And one of my best friends, he was like, "You guys are pansies. I'm gonna do this." He rubbed it on his lips to be kind of a smart ass, and then he took a bite, done. And it was wild. And the one guy who had come in and eaten one, he decided to go to the bathroom, and he must not have wiped his hands off good enough, because he used the bathroom, and next thing we know, he is just screaming at the top of his lungs in agonized pain. He's begging for someone to go and get him milk. And so we go over and get him milk, and we have to walk into the bathroom and hand it to him. And the image is burned into my mind of a grown man, butt naked, pouring milk on his junk, crying his eyes out.
Wow, that's spicy. Talk about, ramping up the heat here, folks. Oh, wow. Now it's time for the cherry on top of the cake. Or should I say, the Buckcherry.
You're crazy, bitch, but you're so good, I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night. Scratches all down my back to keep my right on.
So out of all of the hilarious, priceless, what the F moments that I've heard, so these have been the ones that really stand out to me, including Sarah McLeod's that I talked about earlier. Whenever I tell people about the number one, it's gotta be the one that lead singer Josh from US Rockers Buckcherry He told me about when early on the band got invited to perform at a private event on an outback property, and it was a little bit unexpected.
We played a private event on a private lot of land in Indiana. It was like a campground of all these people that got together, a lot of bikers and stuff. And literally it turned into like a nudist colony. There were people naked on motorcycles and sexual acts out in the open. And by the time we went on stage, there was about 7 completely naked women in the front row looking at us. And it wasn't like they weren't like young, hot, super hot chicks. This was just like regular women from like the age, probably late 20s to like in their 50s. And they were all standing in front of us naked. And it was really bizarre. And then, but it made for a really great Buckcherry show. We did a great show. When we were leaving, the funniest part happened. We're leaving in the bus. There's a guy standing in front of the lavatories, the men and women's lavatories. He's got nothing on but cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. And he's getting a blowjob, waving goodbye to us.
Wow. That is definitely WTF. Boom! Now talk about a happy ending for saying goodbye to it. Wow. Well, there are so many more WTF moments I've heard, and you can check them all out on the Key Knife for Concerts website via the interviews tab, or just on this YouTube channel. Anyway, until next time, thanks heaps for watching, and again, don't forget to keep liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing, and keep a keen eye for concerts, and bring on the boom!
Just give me that!